Welcome back to our 7th session already. And it's so good to be getting to share this with you. And as we've done each time, we're going to start with the daily energy routine. But this time, when you tune in, we want you to, yes, again, notice the sensations in your body and your mood, but also something else. Notice how there is an energy that surrounds you. There is. It's an electromagnetic field. And notice it. See if you can sense into it. You may or may not be able to, but see if it's there and get a sense of its quality, the quality of that field that surrounds you. So.
All right. Okay. Daily energy routine, everybody. So we're going to, are you going to stand up? Okay, just take your hand on the opposite shoulder, push in hard, and pull across. Yeah. I bet there's not as much to pull across now, is there? That's right. Okay, and now we're going to do the 4 thumps. Down to K27, and thymus thump, and spleen points.
Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth.
Okay. Cross crawl. We're going to cross crawl. And again, this just helps the energy cross over. All right, Wayne Cook. We're going to sit down and do this one this time, okay? Do the longer version. You're going to put the right foot over the left knee. And if you can't do this, of course, do the shorter version, okay? Left hand around the ankle. Do you want to stand up and do the other one, just in case somebody needs it?
I'll do the other one in case somebody needs it. So you probably have done this several times, but you like that, like that, like that, like that, and then cross at the ankle if you wish to.
Okay, right hand around the bottom of the feet and in front of your chair. In front of your chair. And we're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. Okay, put your legs down, go up on the other side.
So everybody in the room is really stretching up on the in-breath, and I hope you are out there back home.
Put your legs down and put your hands and your fingers meeting in a cathedral with the thumbs at the third eye, and do the same breathing. One more time. And now bend your fingers into your forehead, push in hard, and pull them across to your temples. And now we're going to keep on going. We're going to do the crown pull. Come up to the hairline, push in and pull apart, and then follow the top of the head. Just push in and pull apart. Push in and pull apart. And continue to do that all the way around the turn of the head and the back of the head. And when you get to the neck, you push in and pull to the sides. 2 or 3 times, and then hold on your shoulders. Take a deep breath in, let your breath out, and come to your heart chakra, and just hold. All right. We're going to do the neurolymphatic reflexes. I'll tell you what, this time let's do our lungs in here, all right? In between the rib cage. And notice if they hurt. If they hurt, you need it. And then the sternum. And then the rib cage. This is small intestine. And sometimes after you've eaten, it might be a little sore. Yes? Okay. All right, and everybody pull up an affirmation if you want to, and put it in as you zip up all the way to the bottom lip. Help governing go up. Trace it up the back as far as you can reach, and then reach over and pull over to the top, over the nose to the back of the throat. And now hook yourself up. and you're ready for a class. You know, that's the truth, what I just said, because nothing's scrambled now. Everything's flowing as it should be, which means that you can absorb information and everything a lot easier. Okay.
So, again, tune in, and has anything changed in your body, in your mood? And also, tune into that electromagnetic field that surrounds your body. It may be more vivid to you because you've just energized your body, or it may have a different quality. Is anybody who's able to actually sense it? You can sense that there's this field around you. Okay, many of you. Who felt that that field changed in some way from doing this? Many of you. Good. Okay, so that field is the topic of today's session. And it is called in many ancient and modern spiritual and healing traditions the aura. Okay, you see it, the aura in religious paintings. The aura is talked about in many, many traditions using different language, but they're talking about something that surrounds you, and in modern science, it's been detected and talked about as the biofield. And this aura or biofield has a number of functions, but its main one is to protect you. It's to protect you and to help you to provide an environment within which you can thrive. It also connects you with the energies that are in the environment that surround you. And it's very interesting how this works. There's two very different metaphors that help us understand the aura. One of those metaphors is a spacesuit, that it's our invisible spacesuit that is protecting us from environmental energies that are not in harmony with us, not in resonance with us, not good for us. The other analogy is it's an antenna, doing just the opposite of what the spacesuit does. The spacesuit is keeping energies out. The antenna is tuning into energies that feed us, energies that we need, people that are going to be nourishing for us, things in the bigger atmosphere that are going to be nourishing for us, bringing in the energy of the moon, the energy of the sun, bringing in whatever energies our bodies are needing, our bodies are craving. So there are these very different metaphors that both capture a bit of what the aura is about. And we'll be learning about the aura today, but I want to, before turning it back over to Donna, tell you about one other very interesting piece of science, which is that in the 1940s, a physiologist at Yale University named Harold Burr loved to tinker with electronic things. He just would build electronic gadgets, and he figured out a gadget that could measure the voltage that comes off of creatures. And he was working with salamanders, so his early work was with salamanders, and it turned out that salamanders have this measurable electronic field around them. So that was interesting enough. And the electronic field, he could actually see from the field where the spine was and where it connected with other parts of the salamander. It was visible in the field. And he said, well, okay, that's very interesting. Wonder when that develops. So he began looking at younger salamanders to see when it developed, and younger ones, and younger ones, and younger ones. And he found something that was amazing, which was that the younger ones had basically the same size field as the mature salamander. Isn't that odd? He went all the way back to the unfertilized egg, and that unfertilized egg had the same field as the mature adult. That's remarkable. It's as if the field is there, and then the body develops into that field. It's like the field provides a blueprint for what's going to happen. And that solves a mystery, because we understand that genetics gives you the programming for all the parts, but we never really had a way in biology to completely explain how a cell in the leg knows to become a leg cell, and how a cell somewhere else becomes the kind of cell it's meant to be. How does it all organize itself? And Burr really gave us a way to understand that this field is organizing the physiology to help it grow. And he took it even further because he started looking at humans. And he looked at all kinds of creatures, but he looked at humans, and he found something even more interesting, which is that illness showed up in this field before it manifested in the body. So he did a amazing experiment in Bellevue Hospital in New York for about 1,000 women who came in with gynecological problems and who were not knowing what the basis was. So they measured the energy field, and then they did the diagnosis, and he was able to predict with about 90% accuracy who had cancer, who would turn out to have cancer based on this field. That got written up in the Annals of Science, major medical journal, and then promptly forgotten because we don't have any paradigms to really understand this, to think this way. So that work was forgotten for many, many years. And now with energy medicine and other complementary health, they're starting to look at that work again and see, can we replicate that? And so but it's not only a modern thought, it goes back, way back to ancient Chinese medicine. In many provinces, you paid the doctor when you were healthy. You didn't pay the doctor when you were sick. When you were sick, the doctor had to work on you. The doctor had to try to get you better and work really hard, but you didn't pay extra for that because the doctor had already failed you by the time you were sick, because the doctor's job was to keep your energy field healthy. And if you keep the energy field healthy, then the body stays healthy. What Burr found out is that the energy field becomes unhealthy before the body becomes unhealthy. So it's got tremendous implications for energy medicine to understand these fields, and the aura is the key pin in understanding this. There's, as you know, there's 9 energy systems that Donna works with, but the aura is the one that surrounds us, that surrounds all our other energies.
Thank you. I was thinking as you were talking that, when I look at all of you, every one of you have a very different aura than each other. You very, very different. Some auras go way, way out. Some come in, kind of collapse in. Some have some holes in them, and everybody has lots of different colors and diagrams and figure eights in your field. Our aura has at least 7 layers out. So each layer is a very different experience of what it means to you, and all of it together makes you. It really makes you. Maybe I'll just name them. First is your etheric field, which is kind of like it mirrors your spirit. It mirrors your spirit, and around that is a protective mist, and it protects you from any onslaught trying to come at you and get you. And you're protected as much as that one's strong. And next is the feeling mental band, and that's where you can see all of your sensory systems and in that band, whether you're more mental or more feeling or whatever you are, it'll show up in that field. And then comes the morphogenic band, is like a template of your rhythm, your
your values, things that are deep in your soul really show up there. And if you're going to change, if you're going to shift, it will really show up in that band. It'll show up very strong if you're going to go through a major shift in your life. You hold your habits in there, but it's also your rhythm that is so much more than a habit. It's from probably conception on, your rhythm, and it'll show up there. Okay? The celestial band, to me, is more like a wisdom band, but it is also, it is your wisdom that I believe you carried in this time around, but it also opens you up to the spirit and into the universe and whatever is in your celestial band, and reaching out far shows up there. So a lot of people who are really into prayer, they have a very strong band there. Okay. Okay, I'll just speak a little bit about life colors because they are so important. When I look at somebody's field, I'm looking to see which is the band that does not shift and change regardless of what they're going through. And it's an outer band, and it has a color that belongs, it's their life color that they were born with and they die with. And if you meet somebody else along the way that has your life color, you have a vibration very similar on some level with them. There is something very similar, and you will recognize each other usually. And yes, the life color is actually really important, and I think it has more to do with your spirit, your soul, your everything. Everything about you is the life color on some level, because it's the big lessons, it's the big challenges you have to go through life with, and you're meant to learn your challenges, but sometimes it takes a lifetime. And when you do, it's wonderful. You shift in a way that sets you free.
And it has to do with basic themes that govern your life. That people of the same life color they may be very different in every way, except for their life is running through a particular theme. The theme might be more a theme of mothering, or it might be more a theme of spiritual leadership, or organizational leadership, or community leadership. But it's what's interesting to me about this is that Donna sees it in a color, and it's talked about by other people as a color. So it's experienced as a color. But what is color? Color is what our eyes translate from a vibration. So it's a vibration that is there in this field that surrounds everything else. That's the vibration that's there. So it's really quite fundamental and important. But all of these layers that Donna's talking about make up the aura. And it may seem like, gosh, this is so very, very complicated. But the energy body is complicated. It's because the physical body is complicated. Think of how much complication there is with all our different systems, all our cells and organs and all that's going on there. Well, of course, if we agree that the energies are governing all of those, of course the energy body would be complex. But we can put it all into a simple term, the aura, and work with it as the aura so that we don't get overwhelmed with all the parts of it. But just that little map, I think, is very useful to have in the back of your mind.
And the last one, the last band around the aura is the Celtic weave. And it literally weaves everything together, and it looks like a lot of figure eights out there far. And it also weaves into the body, it weaves into the chakras, it weaves into every energy system in the body. So it's really important. All of these bands have extraordinary meaning. And they are a part of what makes you, you. Okay, now, I would like to energy test something. I would like two people to come up. And here's you want to come up? Okay, and the other person I want to be, let me see, should I pick the person, or you guys can, I should pick it. Okay, all right. Would you like to come up? Okay. All right, now I'm going to show you something. Okay, I'm going to energy test you like this. And you hold your arms strong, and I'm going to push them down. Right, you're nice and strong. Now I'm going to come way out here. And you're, okay, I'm going to come in and see where that ended. I think it was probably around your fingertips. Let's see. Yeah, you're fine there, and you go a little bit further. So that's just basically how far your aura goes out, okay? But you've got a nice, strong aura. All right, now you, there's a reason I've got you both up here at the same time. You hold your arm real strong, okay? Now I'm going to just, on you, I'm going to go right here, about 3 inches in from your wrist, okay? And hold your arms. Now, they both have, and by the way, because this is a class, it may be simply the class, that the reason that your aura comes in. But sometimes, you know, we're in a social situation or something that our aura will collapse in on us, and it's protective. It's protective, too. So, but if you'd like your aura to go out further, I'm going to show you how. And if you'd like, and your aura is going to, well, I'm going to show you something else about you, okay? All right, so she's nice and strong, okay? But now I'm just going to go like that, okay? And some of us, I do this too, some of us disconnect. There's a disconnect between your aura and your body. And so it's one of the ways that you could be vulnerable, that things could get you because, I mean, you've got a great aura, but you don't, your own self disconnects from it sometimes. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Completely.
It does, okay. All right, and you don't. You've got no problem like that. I can do. You're fine that way. But yours it's just collapsed the other way. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. For you, I'm gonna give you, let's see, the butterfly, okay? The butterfly. You're gonna take your arm, and there goes a wing, and another one. All right, and when you do that, again, your energy is electromagnetic, so you take it out through the field. Now let me see how far you go. First, I'll go to where you were. Now I'm going to go to here. Ta-da! All right, I got to move you out of the way. Okay, so that's the part, but you can see that you can pump your own field out further, and it really changes your experience. For you, I want you to do the opposite, do the reverse butterfly with your thumb coming straight down your body, okay? With your thumb coming straight down. Not you, though. Okay, I'm sorry. Now, you're always going to have, that's enough. You're always going to have an aura that goes out far, okay? So even though you were bringing your aura in, it doesn't do it. But what it does do is it reattaches you to your body.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, you're welcome. All right. The reason why, where are you? There, yeah. The reason why your energy detached, for a lot of people who are just really out there in the world, sometimes a habit grows that your energy goes out further and further and is very connected to other people, but then sometimes you're disconnected from yourself a little bit, and it's harder to come home to self, or it's harder to find yourself, or it's harder to, or maybe you just pick up stuff. You can pick up other people's stuff if you're detached. A long, long time ago, I had a wonderful teacher, and he loved to, what's it called? Well, parachute out of airplanes, and he really loved it, and he loved the experience of what it does to your aura and things like that. But with a huge classroom, he said, Donna, this is for everybody but you. Don't ever parachute out of an airplane because you'll fall right out of your aura. You get so detached. And I realized why that's true. That's what would happen to me. I'd fall right out of my aura. So, okay. All right, Judith, come up here. All right, Judith. Now, one of the wonderful things for everybody and for your for holes in your field, for tears, for anything like that, this is really good. Okay. And you hold your arm real strong. Okay. Okay, Judith, I'm going to check you out right about there.
Okay.
And right about there. So I'm just slicing her field, and you see, so you can see how much an aura affects your own body. I mean, it's yours. It's as much a part of you as your physical body. We just aren't connected in, but you lose your strength when you lose your strength. Okay. So we're going to rub our hands together, and this one is also really good for attaching, by the way, and shake them off. And put your hands on your thighs and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now swing your arms together in a kind of prayerful position, and now rub them together again, and then just pull your hands apart. You might feel the energy between them. There's something, it becomes more and more palpable. But now take a deep breath in and put it up beside your ears. Now take a deep breath in and bring your elbows together, cross your arms out, and then bend over and cross them, swing it out, cross it in front of your ankles, and swing it out. Now turn your arms toward the front, bend your knees just a little bit, scoop it up, and put it up down the front sides and back of your body. That is a great thing to do. Okay, you can sit down. Let's see. And I'll show you what happened to Judith. We're going to go to the end. I know you're there. So let's see. This is a great thing to do if you want to, if you feel that your aura isn't really strong and around you. And how you can know when your aura is strong is, I don't know, if you just feel confident most of the time, if you feel like you can walk into any space and your aura is really, really strong around you. But if you want it stronger, you do this. Okay, now we're going to see how much she got. Oh, you'll just keep going. That's great, Judith. Okay. We had a woman go through our program, our schools, for a long time, and she was always repeating because she was so depleted and so frail and so weak. And she said that this made her feel better than anything else, but she still wanted to be at peak performance and feeling. And so she challenged me in a class. It was a large class, and she challenged me in it because she wanted to really be in great shape. So I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, gosh, she had just done the Celtic weave and her aura was shot. I said, what does she need? And that's what you want to do when you get into energy medicine. Get as curious as you can. Get as curious as you can and figure out, what would work here? What can I do? And just try things out. So, but for her, so much of her aura collapsed in on her, and I just had her put her hands like this and very slowly just push her field out. Now, if you do that yourself, you will probably feel it. I would suggest you do it. Just feel it. You can, if you go slow enough, you can feel that you're in something or pushing against something. And basically, I had her do that all over, everywhere you can. And then when she got out there, she just sort of, as she said, she swam in it. She swam in it, and everything turned around for her. And it was interesting to me that there's so many things you can do to the body, and so many things, but people have different things that is the reason that they don't have all the vitality they want. And for her, it was the aura. I'm going to show you something else. I got into real trouble once back in the 90s. I got what, for lack of a better word, I called it, I had electromagnetics. because they were frying my circuits, and I literally mean that. We lived in a house, and I had to be out of the bed by 2 or 3 in the morning because the energy from the earth was electrocuting me, and it was. And I mean, in the morning my arm wouldn't bend, and it would be real swollen on both arms, and my legs hurt. And it turned out there was an underground river underneath our house, and it hit every socket in the house, and I got it. But it was really hard because I had to practice, and I had no aura anymore, and I knew it. I knew my aura was gone. And here's how I began to build an aura again, because there was nothing there. I can only promise you something else was keeping me alive because it was just energy work, I suppose. But taking a magnet and spinning it out into the field and back, just back and forth in every direction and at every level of my being, from top to bottom, every which way. And slowly I began to build an aura.
It was a real problem because we didn't know really what was going on. All that we knew was that Donna was having a lot of trouble, and we thought, well, maybe it's the bed. That was our first guess. And so we had the experts from Sealy come and look at the bed and say, you need to exchange this bed. And they said, no, the bed tests out fine. And we actually bought 3 different top-of-the-line mattresses in a very short period of time. And then
because when I'd lay in the bed, it would feel like I was being drawn into the earth. And on the bed, all I kept thinking was the bed must be breaking down. Already? The bed is breaking down.
And then it really occurred to us that this has something to do with the electromagnetic fields. But we didn't know what. We didn't know how to figure that out. And so the next thing we did was we found a guy who had worked for NASA. And he was now retired and was working as a consultant doing the kinds of things he did for NASA. And what he did for NASA is he was the one who was responsible to minimize the impact of all those electromagnetic instruments that are in a spaceship from impacting the astronauts. So that was his job, that was his specialty. And he came out to our house, and he had a way that he would figure things out and look at the electrical sockets and what are they.
Yeah, these little meters.
Yeah, he's very instrumented, and what he finally said is, "You're the toughest case I've ever had." He knew something was happening, but it had something to do with the house, and it had something to do with Donna and her unique, energetic.
It clearly was me too, because I had to sleep in other places, trying to find a place I could sleep, and there was no place because I had no aura left. And he nailed magnets all over my house, and it just wasn't enough. So I took the magnets. Okay, so the bottom of your feet is a south directed, okay, and the earth is north directed. So I wanted to stop the energy from the earth from coming in. So I took, let's see, this is a south. So I'd put the north out, north facing out, and it would repel the earth's energies. That was the beginning. I would, because until then I couldn't bear the pain that would come into my body every night. So what I'm trying to say is, regardless of what you're going through, you can figure it out. Okay.
And that aura was not just a theoretical concept for her at that point.
No.
She had an aura, then she didn't have one, and life got a lot worse.
Yeah. I didn't have the protection when I would be working on people. And again, I couldn't work until about 2 in the afternoon because my arms would not work. They just were so swollen. So but what was very interesting, I was teaching a lot in Australia at the time, and the first time I went to Australia after all this was going on, I found that was very common there. Everybody understood you could have this problem, and there would be clinics in different main cities because Australia is the oldest continent, and the top layer was going, and people were getting absolutely, what?
So the magnetic field of the Earth was coming through more strongly and impacting people more strongly. Donna's always been the canary in the cave in the sense that she's very sensitive, so whatever's going on, it will register in her body.
But aren't you glad? Because here I am teaching it.
Yeah, this energy medicine was her survival technique.
Yes, it really was. It really was.
Yeah, so this is about as high tech as Donna gets. This is a Radio Shack magnet with dental floss around it. Okay, this is, and these have a hole in them so you can put the dental floss through it so that you can spin it, and that's one of the ways that you work with
back
the aura.
and forth in the aura. And later, when my aura had gotten stronger, I did put it on a crystal. Then it would just sort of smooth things out, and it would pick up vibrations that were fabulous, you know, on this. So it was really good. But it didn't work until I could get the magnetics out there again.
Yeah, because the magnetics are stronger than the crystal, but the crystal is a more subtle kind of energy, and you know, and you can use natural crystals, but this is a cut glass crystal, and it's designed so that there is a place where you can put a string in the top of it. So that's a more subtle way, but both of these can be used for strengthening your aura in the ways that Donna was showing.
Yeah. Yeah, I will also say, just to let you know how much it affects your body, no acupuncturist who did, I went to several people seeing if somebody else could help me, and acupuncturists could never find my pulses. They simply weren't there.
When her aura had been stripped.
Yeah. So, okay.
So in terms of the aura being there to protect you from all that's around you and from the energies of people, who here, more than most other people, has the experience that people's energies really get to you, they really impact you. You're at work, you're at a mall, you're all kinds of places. So about, look at that, about half the group is raising their hand, and that, in part, that's why you're attracted to energy medicine, is because that's a sensitivity. That's a sensitivity that is a gift. That attunement to the energies of the environment, that sensitivity that is also a hazard, in its essence is a great gift. And Donna has both of it. She has the gift side and the hazard side. She has to work really hard to survive in this world, and now she's gotten much better. Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what her work has done, is it's really strengthened her.
I needed
But
this work.
She needed this work. You know, people don't get MS when they're 16 because they have an energy system that is like rock solid. They get it because of their sensitivity. And so that sensitivity has been Donna's path in life to figure out, as I learn how to strengthen myself, I can also help others. And there are a number of techniques that are quite straightforward that you can use to really protect yourself better when you're going to a shopping mall, or when you're in a business meeting, or when you're in a conference or at a party. And so I'm going to work with one person to show you one of the most basic of these, and then everybody out there and everybody in the audience that raised your hand, and everybody really, because we all run into situations that bombard our energies, can practice it. So you'll all wind up knowing the technique. So Donna, why don't you choose who we're going to work with?
Well, I'm going to pick who first rose your hand. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Remind me of your name again? Teresa. Okay, so Teresa, what we're going to do is to work with what's called central meridian, and we've already been zipping it up, so we already have some experience with it from the 5-minute routine. But central meridian, remember, is also part of that microcosmic orbit between central and governing meridian, and that then moves. That's out there. It's part of the aura. So it's there. You want that to be really strong to protect you, okay? So we're going to play with that a little bit, okay? So you okay with this? Are you okay being in front of everybody?
Sure.
Okay, so come on over here, and I'm going to show you the test for central meridian, okay? It's got, every meridian has its own energy test. So you're going to press up and I'm going to press down. Okay, so it's nice and strong. And now, as you know, you can trace a meridian up. As you know, you can trace a meridian forward or backward, okay? So since it's strong and it goes up this way, I don't need to trace it forward to make it stronger, but I'll trace it against the flow of the meridian, and let's see what happens. So you don't lose all your energy, but you lose enough that it's, okay, so now what we're going to do is, let's get you strong again, okay? Okay, good. Is I'm going to step back a little bit, and you can affect a meridian with your eyes. There's a lot of ways that you can affect a meridian without touching a person. And you can just, sometimes your thoughts can affect them. But with your eyes, I'm looking down the meridian, and now tracing. Okay. Now looking up the meridian, really strong. So you're, like most people, you're very responsive to that. And there are cultures that really understand this. So in the martial arts, for instance, how do they start? How do they start? They begin by strengthening their own central meridian and weakening their opponent. Okay, you know that? Okay, it's not just because it's cute. They know what they're doing. Okay, so in fact, one of my favorite stories with Donna was when Titania and Dondi were in high school. The varsity is a small school, and the varsity football coach was their PE teacher, and he tried to get the girls to get Donna to come to work with the team. So Donna agrees, and she comes in, and there's big hulking guys just looking down at her, and she goes up to the biggest, meanest looking one and says, I want to show you something. Give me your arm. And I'm going to do the general indicator test. She says, look at that. Look how strong you are. And he goes, "Ugh." And and then she goes, and so their reaction was, well, can we do that to the other team? Okay. But that's not what we're teaching you. We're teaching you how to do it to yourself so the other team can't get you. Okay? So that's what this is about. So now, if you're ready, we're going to turn to the audience, okay? Okay, so yeah. You're going to turn to the audience. And with your permission now, because they're going to be messing with your energies. Is that okay? Sure. Okay, so we left you strong, right? Yeah, okay. So now what I'd like you to do is to think, not about her, but think a negative thought. Just think something that bothers you, something that's hard for you. Okay? Okay, so that's why you're up here, right? Because that's what happens to you. Okay, now think a positive thought. Okay. Really strong. So that's what you need now, is you need to hang around happy, healthy people and you'll be fine. Thank you very much. No, we're not done yet. Okay, so now we're going to do a little experiment. It's a kind of a single blind experiment. It's not science, but what we're going to do is I'm going to have people either, when I go like this, you're going to look her up the meridian. Okay, the meridian goes from the base of the body to the lower lip. And when I go like that, you're going to look her down, which would weaken her, okay? But you're going to have your eyes closed, if that's okay. It's okay for everybody to be looking you up and down? Okay, okay. Okay, so go ahead and close your eyes. Let's just make sure you're strong still. Okay, you're nice and strong. Okay, so. Okay, I'm going to test you. Okay, good. Test you. Okay, you're good. going to test you.
Whoop.
You got 3 for 3. Were you peeking? No? Okay. So,
Should I turn around?
so did you feel it? Did you, sometimes you can even feel when they're looking you up or down. Could you feel it in your body?
Third time I felt really sweaty, but I don't know.
You
if
felt
that's
really
connected.
sweaty? Okay, so something was happening physiologically. So that was interesting, though, that you were, you know, that what they did impacted you even though you didn't know what they were doing. And it was very simple. They weren't thinking something negative. They weren't going there at all. They were just looking down or up the meridian. Okay, so all that is built up because the technique is so simple. It's so simple that you'd forget it if I just taught it to you. But with all that build up, maybe it'll be easier to remember. And that is that we've been doing the zip up, okay? We've been doing that already, but we're gonna add a dimension to it because the zip up is the meridian that is most affected by self-suggestion. It's the meridian that's involved with hypnosis. And so it's the meridian that we're working with. There's actually 2 meridians that are involved with the central nervous system. One is bladder, which goes to the third eye of yoga fame, and the other is central. They both have to do with the central nervous system, but this one, central, is really involved with suggestion as well as the microcosmic orbit. So in terms of suggestion, what you're going to do is you're going to not only zip up, but you're going to imagine there's a lock there and a key, and you're going to lock it and toss the key into the ethers. Okay, so let's do that. There you go. Okay, now do that in your imagination only. Okay, good. So let's test you. Okay, not surprisingly, you're strong. We're going to do central test. Okay, very good. Okay, now here's the punchline, okay, is I'm going to have them really try to weaken you with all they've got. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay, so go ahead and face them and in your imagination zip up once more to reinforce it. Okay? Okay, so now what you're going to do is I want you to really try to weaken her because I want her to know whether or not she can withstand a group of 20 people that are really trying to bring her energies down. So we can look her meridian down, you can think negative thoughts, you can do whatever you want, okay? And you can have your eyes open or closed, whichever you prefer. Okay, so I'm going to just step away. Okay, so go ahead and give her your best shot.
You're still smiling.
Yeah, so stop smiling and give her, really get into it. Really seriously give her your best shot. Okay, stop. It's the moment of truth. So so thank you for coming up here and being vulnerable that way. And now what I want you to recognize is that this group is worse than any party you're ever going to go to, which you just withstood. You know, that was focused on you, was trying to weaken you, and you were there meeting it all. So it's really worth remembering. And for those of you that raised your hand that aren't up here, it's that simple and it's that powerful. The other thing you want to do, there's 2 things. One is this, which is the microcosmic orbit through zip up, and the other is keep your aura strengthened, do the Celtic weave. So that's the outer job is the aura, the inner job is central meridian, okay? So before you go, we're just gonna give you a really great hit of positive energy, okay? So you were negative, so give her your best appreciation for what she just came up here and did. Okay, thank you.